Everyone. I, Raman Kaushal Thapa, welcome you to our first edition of Class Live Webinar, where we will discuss about how to convert the obstacles into opportunities. Yes, children obstacles into productive opportunities. As you know, we have been facing unprecedented circumstances of COVID-19, and the outbreak of COVID has changed and shattered our life a lot. We are forced to confine at home. I know, children, you must be desperately missing your schools. Teacher must be missing their classrooms, and other people must be missing their offices, business, etc. We cannot go outside freely, and we cannot meet people freely. We have to keep social distancing. It seems as if we have been living under the reign of terror, and life has become very difficult. Every day, we have been encountering a lot of ordeals, and simultaneously, we have been losing our endurance to face the challenges. Remember, your challenges will become your biggest opportunities in time of such crisis. And these times of pandemic outbreak, where staying positive is the only strive, we have seen many people have fallen into the vicious circle of depression. This trend of depression had, and committing suicide have been escalating day by day among the youth and the students. And recently, one of the greatest actors who was hardly 34 had committed suicide, who could not bear the constant of the depression and ended up as a life in a very dreadful manner. Children, depression, suicide is not the solution. We should stay optimistic and should not lose hope. Definitely, we shall overcome one day. Like it is rightly said, every cloud has a silver lining. And to get rid of challenges and overcome with such difficulties, we are privileged to have a very renowned person in today's webinar who is CEO founder and PTC Global the Consultants, MBA in Leadership and Entrepreneurship, Diploma in Training and Development, done BTech from Agra University, more than 16 years, the leadership experience in training, coaching, and consulting. Awarded with a Bold and Runner, Delhi and North India by Delhi and Haryana government. Awarded by Air India and awarded by Dainik Jagran. A very versatile speaker with the numerous universities, institutions across the country, conducted more than 500 motivational seminars, motivated and inspired over 2 lakh youth, executed more than 200 leadership and team building training programs, imparted more than 50,000 the training hours on employee ability and career skills, certified career counselor with the Times of India, excellent scholar and district rank holder, a stress reliever and mindset coach, a person who guides you to improve your the happiness quotient and also help you to learn techniques from handling emotions and adversity quotient and also suggest us how to best convert the obstacles into opportunities. Please welcome Mr. Ajay Sharma on live webinar today. Children, this is 3 days webinar and sir will be there with us on 3 days. That is today, tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And after such session, we will be having the Q&A session. Now, I would like to hand over to Sir. Sir, here is a complete session to you.
Thank you, Mr. Raman. Thank you so much for the introduction. And namaste to all my viewers internationally who are sitting and primarily Tula International School students. I am thankful to Tula's International Schools and particularly Mr. Ronak Jain for giving us such platform wherein we shall be taking queries and problems from all students, studying at Tulas International School. And I'm sure this interaction in next 1 hour is gonna change all of us towards the positivity and optimism. So let's begin, towards the session that we call converting obstacles into opportunities. My dear students, I'm sure first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you that you all are studying at Tulas International School, and school has been taking a good care of yourself. So that's the reason I'm congratulating you all. And I'm sure you all are taking a good care of yourself sitting, at your homes. Students, it's a time, when we say some problems to come, some difficulties to come in our life, they are always bundled up with certain opportunities with them. Now, there are a lot of examples I can cite with you, when it comes to opportunities altogether bundled with the problems, right? So I was chatting with my, the elder son last night, and he asked me, Papa, how do you convert obstacles into opportunities? And he randomly asked me a question, particularly on COVID. He said, we are not able to go out. We are not able to go to a school. We're not able to go outside to roam around, right? Can you convert this into an opportunity? So, of course, the question was really valid. So my answer to my child was that though Corona has given us a lot of problems, this pandemic worldwide has given us a lot of problems. But my dear friends, if you look at the opportunity angle of COVID, there are many, right? And one opportunity we all are facing, in fact, I am talking to you and you are talking to me in that way on such a platform. So on this platform, I shall be helping you, assisting you towards the optimism and positivity in life. And I'm sure we all have positivity in abundance. I call it abundance. I just have to count, that endless opportunities are actually lying here and there. I just have to pick one and keep enjoying it. So taking you towards the conversation that I was telling you. So now Corona has given us the time to spend with our family. Corona has given us time to focus on our health. Corona has given us time to, take care of environment. So I'm going to take you to the happiness index. So while discussing with you happiness index or happiness quotient, right? Quantifying and qualifying your happiness quotient, I will talk about all that. And you see, every situation that we come across, any situation, which comes to us, we can relate that situation into a problem, into a solution, into an opportunity, right? And how can we do that? I'm going to talk to you right away. So I would start with this, happiness. So I would be very glad to hear from you. How many of us are happy today? I'm very happy to see all of you. I'm so glad that I'm meeting the youngsters and I'm meeting the future custodian. My whole world, my whole country is going to be in your hands, is going to be in your hands. So I'm happy that I am talking to my future custodians. So students, I have a question. How many of us are happy today? Quickly write it down on the comments, the chat box. I am right there, watching your chat box. I'll be very happy to hear that all of us are actually very, very happy. So, and then I would talk about first, what is happiness? How can we actually measure it? And I have a couple of surprises for you. I am known for my Pandora box. So when I say I am known for my Pandora box, that means I carry a box with me, right? I carry a box with me wherein I have surprises for you. So today we shall also cross-check our happiness index, how happy we are, right? And which all factors do really affect us, do really affect our happiness, right? So let's move on. Happiness. So I would be glad to know from your side what exactly is happiness. Don't you think it is just a state of mind, right? It is just a state of mind. There are a lot of things in my surroundings. There are a lot of things within me, right? So it is up to me from where I can fetch happiness. So what happens? People call it the outside factor. People call it the inside factor. I will be happy to know from your side what is your answer of it. It is a factor which comes from outside. That means anybody, any person, any situation in the world, any issue can decide my happiness. any materialistic thing, like if I get a good car, if I get a good sell, or if I get a good surprise, that can have, that can make me probably happy. So what do you say? Is that the connection to the outer world, or that is the connection to my inner world? I would be happy to see your comments. So happiness, so is it inward or it is outward? I would be happy to see your comments quickly. So I hear the happiness is the inners, it is towards the inside. I decide my happiness. It is just a state of mind. Of course, there are factors which trigger my happiness, which trigger my emotions, which trigger my fear, which trigger my anger, right? So there are a lot of parameters I shall discuss with you. By handling those parameters, we can actually work on our index, which is happiness index, right? So before I begin, I would take you what all I would discuss today, beginning with happiness definition, the quotient, how to measure your happiness, then factors that actually impact your happiness that I'll discuss. And then I will take you towards the emotional quotient, right? The emotional quotient, emotional index, feeling index, and how particularly my feeling index determine my happiness, right? How my emotional quotient can also define my happiness. I'm going to talk about that also. And then in these 3 days series of webinars on behalf of Tulas International School, we shall also cover adversity quotient. So friends, when I talk about adversity quotient, it is how to deal with challenges. As the tagline of our session talks about, how can we convert obstacles into opportunities? Yes, you got that right. We can do that. So by dealing with 3 areas, one is called your, HQ, happiness quotient, that we're going to talk about today. Second, EQ, of course, we shall be covering it today and tomorrow also. And the adversity quotient, the third one. It is to your surprise to know that for any success worldwide, it is not what Ajay Sharma says, it is what the research says. The research says that 80% success comes out of our HQ and AQ, or you call it EQ and AQ. That means if I have the art of dealing with AQ, if I know the art of dealing with my HQ, or I know how to increase my index of so-called happiness or emotion, right, I can become successful. There are 80% chances of mine to become successful. Now, taking you towards IQ, I'm sure my dear students must be waiting. Then why do we study and what is IQ, right? So IQ is very, very important, but that decides 20%. So there are a lot of things you're going to learn as you grow, and 20% results that comes out of our 80% efforts, 80% results come out of our 20% results. So all that, I will not take you into the intricacies of management and psychology or human behavior. We will talk about in general. I am here to take your all worries, and I'm sure once I take your worries, I shall be able to assist you to become more happy or to become happier, right? So now I have a few questions here. Quickly start answering those questions. Since we discussed that happiness is just a state of mind, so I can decide to be happy, I can decide to be sad, right? There are situations outside world, right? The society, all that is going to impact my happiness, but that can decrease or increase my happiness, right? But deciding which is a factor, the parameter, deciding on happiness is my choice, absolutely my choice, right? So I would quickly talk about certain parameters which can make me happy, right? And then I would take you towards certain examples in life, what has been happening all around and what has happened in the past, right? So once you talk about the happiness factors, right? So happiness factors can come from 3 areas, right? I would talk about 3 areas and then further categorize those areas into further 7 areas, right? The one is physiological, right? That means from my physical area that comes from. Second is psychological, right? That means, of course, my mind, my psychology, my behavior, right? So that comes from my psychological approach. How do I approach with me, right? And third, it comes from society. So three areas. The first is physiological and psychological, and then social, right? So further, I would take you towards these areas one by one, right? So if I talk about the first thing that we called physical activity, or how fit you are physically, right? My dear friends, when it comes to happiness, you see, recall, or in case you can talk to some people who are physically unfit, though God bless all of you to be very, very healthy, right? And very, of course, aspiring in life. Indeed, you are, right? So it comes from health, right? So once you're very, very healthy, or you're taking good care of yourself, right? Or let's say, if I talk about some of you, don't you think that while going to gym, putting some weight or doing exercise or punching, right, in the gym, that gives you happiness, right? So it is correlated. I would talk about the emotional quotient also with you, with wherein we shall correlate the happiness and so-called the emotional aspect of life, right? So moving towards the areas, the one is the physical, right? So physically, how do I do? How much time do I giving to my health, right? Am I really enjoying it and taking care of it? So it really decides my happiness index, right? Second becomes my education, right? So when I talk about education, I'm sure you all are enjoying studying at class. So when it comes to education, I need to ask myself a question: am I happy with what I am doing? Am I enjoying my studies? Am I getting satisfaction from all around, once I'm studying on a certain area or in terms of education? So research says that in terms of education or occupational, there are two things: education and occupational. So in education or occupation, you see, there are huge percent of people, who say that I become happy when this thing happens. I become happy when my teacher approaches me in a very polite way. I become happy when my teacher does not criticize me, right? I become happy when my colleagues, when my friends in my class, they start talking to me or they start praising me. So you see, these all factors are all social factors, right? But when I say education, yes, you really have to make it a success, and all that you are doing sitting at home, right? So taking ahead towards this question, why don't you go for a small kind of exercise on these parameters? I'm giving these parameters, just jot them down and rate all of them, out of 10. Rate all of them out of 10, right? Because there is an environment, there is education, there is so-called health, there is my intellectuality, how intellectual I am with the outside world, right? So all these factors, when I talk about, I can really find out my happiness index, right? So I'm going to quickly tell you these 7 areas of happiness, give them the kind of a ranking out of 10, and we will quickly decide our happiness index, right? So quickly jot them down in case you have a paper and pen. I'm sure you have it. So emotional happiness, right? Very, very important. I'm going to spend much time on emotional index of happiness, right? So then we have your social happiness, intellectual, spiritual, and environmental, right? So once you give, a marks out of 10 over here, so somewhere if you stand beyond 50% on such scale, that means we are actually happy in our life. And if you get around 80%, 90%, of course, we are very, very happy in life, right? So you keep enjoying your moment. So I'm sure that will keep fetching happiness for you. So here I will quickly take you towards emotional aspect, which is very, very important. So when I say emotional aspect of happiness, I would like to ask you, what are emotions? What are emotions? Quickly, if anybody can answer me, what are emotions? Yes? Anyone can answer me, what are emotions? Yes? So emotions, Neetu, thank you so much. Hi, Jaswinder Kaur, thank you so much. Emotions, these are my feelings, right? And emotions I can have from two angles: the positive emotions and negative emotions, right? Positive emotions and negative emotions. Friends, to pass you some information, and of course, I should be taking a lot of questions from you. When I talk about the positive emotions and negative emotions, right, there is a lot to talk about on it. right? Yes, emotions decide our success, emotions decide our happiness. Emotion is the only factor that can trigger success, failure, sadness, happiness, fear, anger, anything that you talk about, right? You see, friends, in such time of COVID, there are a lot of people who are sitting at home and they have not been making their time very productive. When they do not make their time productive, they feel alone, they feel loneliness, right? And loneliness can also bring them a kind of a negative emotions, right? So we'll talk about all the parameters which have the so-called negative impact on emotions. We have some parameters which have positive impact on emotions, right? And the best thing I would like to suggest you, what happens when we have a problem, when we see an obstacle, right? The one thing I really have to work on, that is, I have to ensure that, yes, I have to ensure myself, I have to confirm myself that yes, it carries an opportunity with it. So when I say it has an opportunity with it, I just have to go and catch it. I just have to go and catch that opportunity, and we all have the caliber to do so, right? So I'm sure when you become so-called angry, when you are tensed or you have stress, you have a lot of option. Either you can go for a walk outside, you decide to listen to music, you decide to chat with your besties or best of your friends, right? You decide to talk to your parents, you convey to your parents. There are 100 possible options. Or you plug in the earpods, right, and start listening to beautiful music, right? So a lot of options we have. But there are people who do not kind of pay attention, or they do not try to gain confidence, wherein they can actually have all these options and can try to be very happy by controlling emotions. Friends, when we talk about emotions, it is just a reaction to the perception. You see something, you perceive something, you see something, you think something, right? Your mind reacts on it and your body reacts on it, or your behavior gives it a result, right? So anything that you see, you perceive, it results into your behavior to the outer world, right? It results to a reaction to yourself. And I am here to make that reaction very, very positive, to make that reaction very, very healthy for all of us, so that we start enjoying and living it a beautiful life. So I have some surprises for you. As I said, I'm sure by now you must have checked your happiness index. So those who could get 80% and above, 70% and above, they can quickly comment and give me the rating. And those who have around 50, 60%, still very, very good. Now, friends, here I have to find out, in life, it is not important to have all the positive happiness factor. Like out of 7, 8, 9, 10, all situations that I come across, there can be one factor which triggers my happiness, So that makes me very, very happy. So I really have to find out that factor. What is that? Is that the environment? When I move out, I feel like happy. Is that the exercise that makes me happy? Is that the study that makes me happy? Is that the singing that makes me happy? So all that you can choose and can work on that trigger and try increasing on that angle of a happiness quotient. Now, taking you towards, since I have to answer a lot of questions also, I would really I would really be happy in case in between you keep asking questions in terms of happiness, in terms of emotions. So I would talk about here, if you have heard Beethoven, right? Beethoven was I will tell you who was he, but before that he was a deaf. He couldn't hear, right? He couldn't hear at all. John Milton, Sudas, right? They could not see, right? And there are a lot of people in the world. I'm sure you must have heard of Nick. No arms, no legs, no worries. So when I wake up in the morning, I always thank to God that, God, thank you so much for giving me such a beautiful morning, right? Which and of course a time to see beautiful sun coming out. So you see, when we become happy, everything that we see all around gives us happiness, gives me happiness. So jumping you towards your emotional quotient, your EQ factor. So we have positive EQ. So, and before that positive EQ, I will talk about negative EQ. So negative EQ, we have fear. I would be happy in case you can, write in chat box which all are the negative emotions that we have. I'll be happy to see negative emotions quickly right on my screen here, which all are negative emotions. So recalling fear is negative emotion. Somebody's answering me. Anger is a beautiful. I mean, of course, though it's beautiful sometimes. So it's good to be angry, but it's not that good to be aggressive, right? So I would talk about the anger and the aggression also. So when I say, angry, becoming angry, fear, oh, good. Tabassum, very nice. Ronak is saying anger, Tabassum is saying fear. So very nice. We have fear as an anger. We have, so-called anger as an anger. So fear makes us also angry at times. Anxiety is also the negative worries. Raj Kamal is saying worries is negative emotion. Beautiful. And anything else? Anxiety is also insecurity. Beautiful. Insecurity, anger I could get. Anxiety, very nice. Jaswinder Kaur is answering me. Loneliness is the negative emotions. Very nice. So I will quickly take you how to handle negative emotions, right? And then I will take you towards converting obstacles into opportunities, right? And we can always convert obstacles into opportunities when we deal with a situation, when we deal with a problem from a positive mindset. So when I meet a problem with a positive mindset, when I meet an obstacle with a positive mindset, believe you me, I can see the opportunity it carries with itself. It carries with itself. So I would like to cite a common example. How many of you have piggy bank at your place? I mean, in your room, piggy banks, money. So I'm sure most of you have piggy banks. So this emotion I will connect with piggy bank, right? So what happens when I have negative emotion? So negative emotion, if you see piggy bank, when I see I have huge money, right? Oh my God, I am a millionaire. Why? I have my piggy bank which is filled up, which is heavily filled. But when I feel it, it is heavily filled. When I open it and count the coins, I feel, yeah, I am still a poor man. I really have to earn more money to get me what I really want, to get my friend what I really want to gift, right? So similar is the negative emotion. Negative emotion, till the time you feel that negative emotion, I have a fear, I have an anxiety. Though I will talk on this one by one in detail, but I also have to ensure that my in-depth knowledge, my theoretical knowledge will not make you bored. So that's the reason I am requesting you, please keep throwing comments and your queries, your questions. I would be happy to answer all the questions, taking you back to the negative emotions. So while dealing with negative emotions, I really have to understand, why am I feeling fearful? If I talk about a fear, why am I feeling fearful? What is giving me a fear? Right? So if you jot that down, if you think that in your mind, you will feel that there are hardly one or two things that make me feel fearful. But until I jot that down, until I discuss with myself in detail, believe you me friends, मुझे लगता है कि मेरे पास बहुत सारा फियर है. आई फील सो फियरफुल. और वो फियर कब एंजाइटी बन जाता है मुझे मालूम नहीं पड़ता. वो एंजाइटी कब एक फिजिकल प्रॉब्लम में कन्वर्ट हो जाती है, आई डोंट इवन गेट टू नो. एंड बिलीव यू मी, इट हैपेंस इन फ्यू वीक्स. So we all should take care of ourselves in the best possible way. Believe you me guys, turning point, if you really want to make this world a turning point for yourself, if you really want to make this world a turning point for yourself, make yourself a turning point first. Make yourself a turning point first, right? So which is very, very important. So connecting you with the negative emotions, back to the negative emotions again. So what is a fear? What is a fear? Fear, right? In case somebody can answer me quickly, what is a fear and what makes you feel fearful? That is very, very important. So once you jot that down, it can easily be sorted. It can easily be solved, right? So what is it? I have a quick example. All of you watch movies, I'm sure. All kids, all children, everybody watches movies, right? So when we watch a movie for 2 3 hours, are we not in an imaginary world? Yes, we are in imaginary world for 2 3 hours, right? So do we not come out of that imaginary world once we come out of theater, or once we go out of TV? Answer is yes, right? So should not be suppressed. I have Jaswinder, please be specific to your question. I would request you. uh, yeah, I'll be happy to answer you. So here I was about watching a movie for 2 3 hours. Similarly, what is a fear? Fear is a kind of a movie that you generate in your mind for a fraction of minutes, for a fraction of seconds, and with the march of time, you try love it more. And the more you love it, the more you dwell into it. Always remember, guys, negativity is something that has a magnitude, that has a magnet, right? And you make it a powerful magnet. Otherwise, it does not have a power at all. Fear, anxiety, so-called restlessness, right, or loneliness, right, or any negative emotion, anger, sad, sorrow, right, all that is just a fraction of a minute, and I can really say it goodbye. But who decide to stay with it? The moment I think a lot and lot on it, the more I dwell on it, the more I start sinking into it. I'll have a common example here. If you read about this theory or the research, if you take some hot water, very hot water, and take a frog and put that frog into the hot water. So you'll find two kind of frogs, two variety of frogs in a way. First variety of frog, if you put that in a very hot water, boiling water, so frog will quickly jump out. Frog will quickly jump out. Two, second variety of a frog, if you put that frog into water, that frog will remain in water for some time, till the time it can tolerate the water, right? But the moment it feels that the water is getting inside the body, I mean, the moment it finds it beyond toleration, it jumps out. It jumps out. So, guys, if it is my decision, जब मेरा डिसीजन है, सो मुझे किसी ने कहा है कि मैं दिन में हॉरर मूवी देखूं, रात में हॉरर मूवीज देखूं, और रात में हॉरर मूवीज, और दिन में आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट फियर, राइट? I am creating that perception. What is the fear? Perception of certain danger, feel of some danger that can happen, this can happen, is a fear, right? One research says that what all you fear is not even 8% practical, right? What all we think in anxiety, what all we feel in fear, practically it doesn't happen even 8%. So I will take you towards that slide of mine, which talks about that research also. So taking you back to handling the fear, do not generate that horror movie in your mind, since you are the only decision maker of yourself, your mind, body, and soul. Try and make it happy and happy and happy, right? So I'm sure you will stop making horror movies, because you will not be paid for making those movies, right? You are the producer of those movies and you're not getting paid for it, right? So do something for which you're getting paid in terms of happiness, getting paid in terms of love from your parents, from your friends, all around, right? I will talk about the positive factor of so-called emotions. So quickly taking you towards other part of emotions from my comment box. Sir, I want to say negative emotions should not be suppressed. Very nice. Good. Jaswinder Kaur is a very active, girl here. She's saying it should not be suppressed. Nice. It should not be suppressed. I am not asking you to suppress it. See, when we say overcoming anxiety, overcoming fear, overcoming any negative emotion, is not at all a kind of making a sense. Why? Because it does not exist. And something which doesn't exist, how can we kind of suppress it? So try and convert it, try and channelize it, right? And we all can do that. As I said earlier, if I am, let's say, angry, I am angry, right? So I can take out that anger on the boxing pad. I can take that anger out while walking outside. I can take that anger out through my conversation, right? Might be I'm angry with my wife, I'm angry with my girlfriend, I'm angry with my friend or parents or anybody, right? So I need to converse, I need to communicate to the person, because of whom I am angry, right? And anger something that I recall, anger is the poison that you take, right? And you are expecting somebody else to die. Remember my this sentence. The anger is just a poison. You are taking it, you are harming it, you're harming yourself, and you're expecting that somebody else should die, right? So take your anger out through a lot of ways. It can be through music, it can be through playing outside, right? It can be by giving you a break of 5-10 minutes. I can recall a lot of situation at my workplace during my school life, from a lot of children who come to me for kind of counseling. So it happens, when you become angry, right? So best way, one of the ways can be that you take an exit for 5 minutes, right? And you try and shift your focus and try and look at that anger, that situation from a third person perspective. 90% हमारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाती है जब हम उस प्रॉब्लम को एज अ थर्ड पर्सन वॉच करते हैं. बट हम थर्ड पर्सन वॉच नहीं करते ना जब हम कॉन्वर्सेशन में होते हैं. व्हाट डू वी डू? हमारा मी, सेल्फ, आई, ईगो, माई सेल्फ, ऑल दैट कम्स इन पिक्चर, राइट? सो आई हैव टू इंश्योर कि जो मेरा वो सेल्फ है, वो मेरी ईगो है, राइट, उसको मैं साइड से रख के एज अ थर्ड पर्सन जब सिचुएशन को देखता हूं तो मुझे लगता है हाँ, आई कैन रियली फाइंड ए सोल्यूशन आउट ऑफ इट. एंड फ्रेंड्स, अग्रेशन और एंगर में बहुत डिफरेंस होता है. आई वुड ओनली रिक्वेस्ट यू, अपने अग्रेशन को कंट्रोल में रखिए. ट्राई एंड फाइंड आउट अ वे जिससे आप अपने अग्रेशन को चैनलाइज कर सकें, अपने एंगर को, अपने अग्रेशन को बाईपास कर सकें. यू गिव इट अनदर वे टू मूव ऑन एंड इट इज प्रैक्टिकली पॉसिबल, राइट? लाइफ में जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, द मोमेंट यू सॉल्व देम, हमें चैलेंज लेना. चैलेंज इज, हे प्रॉब्लम, हे यू, नेक्स्ट कम, आई एम हियर टू सॉल्व यू. I'm here to solve you, right? And once we solve a problem, what do we find? Oh my God, it was so easy. It was so easy, right? जैसे एक कॉमन एग्जांपल लेते हैं, those who are in class 10, 11th और 12th, right? जब वो अपने सिबलिंग्स को पढ़ाते हैं, those who are in class 5, 6, उनको लगता है it is so easy, इतना easy है, anyone can solve these puzzles, right? But जब हम खुद 6 में थे, जब हम खुद 7th में थे, don't you think कि हमारे लिए वो सॉल्व करना मुश्किल था? So in a way, once I solve a problem, it becomes easier to me to try and learn how to make it easier, right? So I would be happy to take quick questions in my comment box, right? Because I know time is running out and I have a lot to talk with you, right? On positive and negative emotions. I will talk about positive emotions also, because there's a lot to talk about negative emotion, and I would be showing you certain surveys also. First research, let me tell you. My audiences right now, those who are there in front of me, right? I'm thankful to all of you that you are listening to me. In fact, when you talk about research, the people who are shifting towards the age of 20 from age 10 or 12, we call it age of adolescence, right? Adolescence. So teenagers, adolescent people, those who are hitting age from 12 to 20, right? It is a stage, my dear friends, wherein physiological changes in our body, changes in our mind, right, are bound to happen. And research says that maximum changes do happen during this transformation, during that shift. And certain psychologists, certain researchers have called it a storm age. Right? So why do we call it a storm age? Because kuch bhi mind mein aata hai and I want to do it, right? That comes to my mind, I want to do it, right? So that we call a storm age. So in case you have some problem in terms of it is disturbing your mind, so we call it a mental issue, psychological issue, right? If it is in your behavior, of course, psychological issue or health issue. So all these are normal. Your hormones are changing at such an age, right? So all these things are pretty normal. But if you talk about people who are not able to handle such situations, right? Let me tell you, till the age of 14, till the age of 14, 50% psychological issues develop in us. At the age of 14, 50% psychological issues do develop. By the age of 24, there are 75%, psychological problems, I would say, issues that come to our mind and, and behavior. I'm saying 70% till the age of 24, right? So we have to ensure that. I would also request all parents who are watching, who are listening to me, to take a great care of their children during such age. Such age is very, very crucial, right? And important age also. Good part of this age, right? If you look at the study, there is one term that we call passion. I'm sure all of you know the word passion, right? Passion is something which is required for all of us to do miracles in the world. Believe you me, guys, passion से ही सब कुछ होता है, right? And passion becomes beautiful once you make it a compassion also, right? So passion जो develop होता है ना, that generation happens during such age. When I say 14 years to 20 years, which is adolescence age, in this age, your passion develops the most. You all have the fire in you. So my friends, what to wait for? Who to wait for? Right? Convert that fire in fighting that opportunity, and make yourself not the warrior, or warrior, I would say, WORRIER, warrior. Be a warrior with your worries, your fear. Make a kind of a fearful project, right? So I was telling you, Beethoven was a deaf person, right? But what did he do? He actually created the best music in the world, right? John Milton, Surdas, they were blind, right? And they become the world level poet, right? And I'm sure if you talk about Big B, you talk about Rajnikant, who at some point in time, who could say that Rajnikant can do so well worldwide, right? And even he can be worshipped in Tamil Nadu. Who could even think it of, right? Big B, people used to say that, उनकी जो height है, वो केवल cupboard clean करने के लिए use हो सकती है, not for movies. And you see what Big B is doing, right? So problems की जब बात करते हैं ना, friends, guys, हमारी life is a path, wherein we have to learn solving problems. And मैं आपको एक और फॉर्मूला देता हूँ. जब हम प्रॉब्लम्स को इकट्ठा करते हैं ना, that becomes our worry, right? And we actually make it a balloon. So problem ko never try and kind of collect or assimilate problems. एक problem आई, call it, become confident, right? Fearful ka kind of, once you have the opposite of fear, that is what you are confident, right? So have that confidence in you and try and go back to yourself and say, yes, I can solve you. Hey, problem, come, I can solve you, right? So once you generate such habits of solving problems day by day, dealing with anger, dealing with fear, dealing with anxiety, if at some point in time it develops, dealing with loneliness, right? It can actually make you very, very, confident. So moving ahead, I would be happy to take few questions quickly. Somebody is writing how to recover loneliness, right? Avdesh Thakur is asking me a question, how to work on loneliness. Beautiful, Avdesh. I could see, and let me tell you, this index or the survey which I could recently come across. Globally, there are 8 lakhs suicides. 8 lakhs suicide in 2016, which was the latest kind of survey in terms of the world, right? And this survey, this year was less in number of death. If you talk about 2010, 11, 12, those years were, like really very, very worst in terms of suicide cases. So 2016, 8 lakhs deaths across the world. So if you convert that into minutes, in 2 minutes, we have 3 deaths, right? So by the time our session gets over, there would be 90 people who would have left this world. And guys, all these start from, where we do not discuss our problems. We do not know why problems are coming. We do not, kind of we do not come into self-awareness. I should know about me. What do I like? What do I dislike? What triggers me? What gives me worry? What gives me fear? What gives me anger? I should know the questions of all these why and what positivity I have. Okay, before I discuss on loneliness, I have a beautiful say to tell all of you. How many of you, and I really want all of you to kind of write me on chat box. When did you say I love you? When did you say I love you to your mom and dad or to your sibling and hug them? I'm sure, guys, those who are listening to me, they are in the age group of around 15 to 12, 18, right? So many more people, I'm sure, thanks to them also. So 15 to 18 years or 17, 18 years, they were actually very, very bubbly and kind of, mom, dad, hug, right? So what do you recall? What is the time when did you hug your mom and dad last time? If not, please, after the session, the moment this session gets over, go and hug your parents and say, I love you, mom. I love you, dad. And parents, those who are listening to me, believe you me, worldwide, if I talk about three areas, one is health, right, which comes in physiology. Two, I'm talking about psychology. Three, sociology, right? Social areas. So when I talk about social problems and psychological problems, there are many, then the health problems, right? And other two problems, social society problems and your psychological problems, once they are not dealt, right? Once you're not dealing with those problems, generally in India, I am really shocked. In India, we really overlooked at such issues, right? अगर हम world की बात करें, worldwide 20% people are suffering from psychological issues, psychological problems. I'm talking about adolescents, right? So those who are in the age group of 14 to 20, right? 1 out of 10 children, 1 out of 10 is suffering from psychological issues, right? And these issues are triggered from society more. These issues are triggered by a lot of factors. So as a parent, I request you, I being one of the parents, I request all of you to take care of your children in the best possible way. Listen to them, listen to their problems, right? And I'm sure once you listen to them with a huge patience, right, it can easily be solved, right? And other problems, I'm sure all of you know, parents always give a lot of importance to health. Three chapati, four chapati, eat more, right? So I know in India, situation is not 20%. Situation in terms of psychological, it is 14 to 40%. 14 to 40%. So when I'm saying 40%, it's a huge number. South Asian countries, right, including India, of course, we come in those areas. Here the situation is really worse. Why? We do not give a kind of an attention to psychological issues. We call it a mental issue. Come on, how can a psychology can always be a mental problem, right? We call and people make fun of it. We call it mentally retarded. We call it mental issues. We call it psycho. Come on, guys. It's a beautiful world. We all are connected somewhere with one superpower, which is God. Let's take care of one another beautifully, right? And I'm sure your parents, you ask your parents your value, who you are for them. Clear? And this you will realize once you become parents after 10 years, right? It's a process. God bless you with the best of health. So coming to the point, loneliness. I was trying to address loneliness. Why it happens? It happens because I do not know my happiness factor. I do not know my positive emotions, right? And I really want to attach an anchor to it. I will tell you what is an anchor, right? Anchor plays a very vital role in kind of solving a lot of issues that come to me in life or come to all of us in life. So I was on on that part, loneliness, right? So when I am alone, I trigger a lot of thoughts, and either my mind become the best friend of mine, or my mind becomes a kind of enemy of mine. So you see, my mind is my best competitor, and my mind is the worst competitor also. Those who make it the best competitor, I really salute them, right? That means their intellectual power, their cognitive skills, ability to think and generate ideas is very nice. So like I talk about me, during lockdown, I really put time to work on health. I had been thinking for a long time, because work has kept us occupied all the way day night, right? All the way day night, work really had occupied. And And this lockdown has given us time to work on health. This lockdown has given us time to watch movies that we could not watch during working hours. We could get time to give to family, to create that bonding, with parents, with kids, all around people, right? So there are relatives, people who never used to call, but now we call, almost weekly basis, third day, fourth day. So it is creating a bond, my dear friends. So loneliness can quickly be kind of recovered, or we can call it, I can channelize it by generating what I love doing. So when I say what I love doing, I'm sure all of you have your one of the hobbies, right? So your that hobby can be listening to music, that hobby can be playing guitar, and can be making health, right? Can be going on walk, right? And of course, walk can happen on terrace. You cannot go out, but you can always go on terrace, right? So these are things. So loneliness is something that we can always work on while being connected with the world outside, right? And please, my humble suggestion to all the people, if you think that your loneliness is giving you a lot of worries, it makes you sad for more than 24 hours, for more than 2 days, don't wait for a week. Don't wait for a week. Even it makes you sad for 2 days, for 24 hours, for even 2 hours. Please convey to your parents. Please convey to your friends, right? And I am also available for all of you at Tula's page. I will always be there to support you, to take your worries and throw them at the required place, right? So you can, I'll be happy in case you can take me as your worry taker, so please give your all worries to me. I ensure that I would channelize them, and I would try and make you more confident, right? So there are a lot of things we can talk about, but I will take your questions also. I have a question. Sunil Singh, thanks for commenting, but I would really want to know your answer. Be quick while asking questions. And Akshat, please ask questions. And then Abhay, Jaspinder, all right. Vijay Shubhani, absence of hope is fear. Vijay Shubhani is saying absence of hope is fear. Absolutely, it is, right? But you see, fear is sometimes that positive factor also. Fear is a positive factor also, but till the time you can consider it. If it does not go beyond our control, it is actually a kind of a motivation factor also, right? What is that? If let's say I am here in front of you, right? If I do not plan my session, if I do not plan my webinar, right? Don't you think that I would think in mind that, or let's have your example. If you do not prepare your assignment, right, what might happen? You will recall the angry face of your class teacher scolding you, and you will imagine, yes, it can happen, right? So fear is important to kind of, make your target achievable. It is important. And absence of hope is fear, up to some extent, yes, right? But why would you keep your hope absent? You really have to keep alive, right? You really have to keep this hope of yours alive. I always tell my all students to keep your hope, to keep your goal, to keep your desire, to keep your aspirations always right in front of you, and talk to them. Once you talk to your aspirations, talk to your dream goal, it makes you, kind of feel, and you have a reason to kind of, wake up with that thought process. Today I'm going to do this. Today I'm going to do this, and I know I will complete it. Okay. So in that way, we can always go ahead. Very nice, Vijay. Absence of, I have discussed it. Priyanka is saying feeling of losing something. Priyanka Gusain is saying feeling of losing something. Yes. See, feeling of losing something, and then depression part or anxiety part, I will pay more attention tomorrow on it, right? I will discuss in depth. But yes, when I talk about losing something, right, there are two things that we have, and there are a lot of techniques also which I want to discuss with you in detail tomorrow and day after. So although techniques, I would also request tomorrow, once you are there in front of me, please carry a paper and a pen. We will also do some exercises all together, right? So that you understand it in a more accurate way, right? So a feeling of losing something once we generate. So let me just show you one survey. You will get to know and you will get this answer also. Because feeling is a feeling. We can generate any point in time, right? And how to control on it, we really have to have a fact and figure. Let me show you the fact and figure. Yeah, I'm sure you are able to look at it. If you see here, 40% of the things we worry about never happen. 30% are in the past and can't be helped, right? 12% involve the affairs of others that are not our business, right? 10% relate to sickness, real or imagined. So only 8% of things that we worry about are likely to happen. I repeat, only 8% of things we worry about are likely to happen, right? So here, I would really appreciate you to work on or advise you to kind of, work on this area, which is, feeling positive, and work on your happiness index. Try and find out what triggers your happiness. Try and find out what triggers your positive emotions, right? And when I talk about the positive emotions, right, these emotions are what? Love, or of course, care is another one. I would be happy to hear positive emotions, and we can attach anchor to it. Now, what do we call attaching anchor? I'm going to talk about anchor, right? And anchor would really help you a lot to kind of work, and how can we think about it, right? So what is an anchor? Anchor is like, let's talk about one anchor that we call, your positive emotion is happiness, right? Happiness is one of the positive emotions, okay? So you become happy when you see something, right? So that somebody or something becomes your anchor, right? So now, if I say what makes me happy, when I go on a long drive, makes me happy, right? When I listen to my own music, that makes me happy. When I play with my kids, that makes me happy. So I'm sure you would have your own anchors, right? As a student, you would have a lot of friends, and you can talk to parents. So for you, your parents, your friends, any situation, music, that can be anchor. Keep that anchor always in mind, right? So the moment you keep that anchor in mind, that can always decide your happiness, right? Why? The moment you are sad, you feel sad, quickly go back to your happiness anchor and try and recall it, and try and dwell into that anchor. Okay, so this is how. And now let's talk about next is love. So love is another emotion, right? So love being another emotions, we can always attach an anchor to it. So when I attach an anchor to love, what can that be? That can be, of course, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend, your mom, your dad, right? Or your book, right? Anything. I want you to kind of put that anchor to yourself and keep it here. You feel lovely, you feel loved, right? And ask yourself, am I feeling loved? Am I feeling cared, right? Do I feel cared? Do I feel loved, right? These are the big words, right? So always have these anchors attached, right? And I am gonna give you one anchor of happiness right today. And I would really request all of you to listen to this anchor whenever you have time. I recall my training on a lot of areas in terms of self development. So friends, there is always a song, or rather many songs with me. I try and live with those songs when I want to bring happiness, right? So that song becomes my anchor, right? So I would also request, I will play one anchor for you and try and sing that song with me. Try and enjoy watching that song, and I would really request you to kind of, whenever you feel sad or you want to make yourself more happy, trigger your happiness, trigger your positive emotion, trigger your love, and be very very positive and optimistic, kind of in life. So taking you ahead there, and before that I would quickly have some questions also. Priyanshu Agrawal is saying overthinking. Yes, Priyanshu, you were right. Overthinking. Probably you're trying to ask me how to stop overthinking, right? So overthinking you can stop. There is a way. What happens at your age? I mean, I'm talking about adolescent age. So age 14, 20 years. Mind is developing into billions of directions, and we feel like my friend is doing that, I should also do this. Parents are telling me to do this, I should also do it, right? So here you see all corners, and my body, my psychology, my behavior, all that is drastically changing because that's an age, right? And it is normal, it is normal. So here, coming to the question, overthinking, deal with all the problems one by one. Try and deal with thoughts one by one. One thought has come to your mind, try and address it. Talk to your parents, talk to your friends, talk to your mentors, talk to your teachers, and talk to yourself. Talk to yourself, your soul, right? You live in your soul lives in you, your mind. Talk to yourself and try and find the best solution out of it. Okay, give it a shape. Similarly, in terms of dream, thoughts, it is not bad to overthink on dream, to overthink on some thought, but please jot it down. Jot it down, give it a shape. Before you have 100 ideas, take one idea and give it a shape. Next idea, give it a shape. Similarly, a problem, one problem, solve. Next problem, solve. Third problem, solve. And you see that all problems will get solved one by one, right? And life becomes, like, rather I would call you become a project head of fear projects, right? Fear projects, right? So I'm sure all that you can do sitting at home and studying in school. So next question I would like to have, Avdesh Thakur, stress. I would also request, once you are asking a question, put your age also, right? I'll be happy to see you how old you are, so it can help me in designing my answer more specifically, for your kind of practical usage. Okay, so please try and jot down your age while asking a question. So Avdesh is talking about stress. I would have a common example of stress. Please watch me. I am handling the class. Okay. I am handling it. And whose choice is it? It is my choice. I wanted to drink water, so I chose it. But now I have drunk water. I should keep it down. But now what do? I keep carrying it. 1 hour goes, 2 hours goes, 3 hours goes, a day goes off, right? What will happen? My hand will get numb, right? And my family would have to take me to the hospital. This stress to my hand, and that to my mind, that my body reacted. Who has given this stress to myself? Me, right? So always remember, your perception changes your mental approach, your physical approach, your behavior. It is only perception. So I will talk about perception and attitude also. So I will give you certain techniques like circle of concern, circle of influence. I will have few exercises also to do. That's the reason I'm asking you to keep a paper and a pen ready with you tomorrow. And then we will try and solve all the possible problems that we have, right? I will also have in my session how to control depression, how not to dwell into depression, and what leads somebody to depression, right? And when does people commit suicide? All that also I will talk about, because I really love everybody. I love you all. I love this community. I love the life, and I'm sure all of you are loving the life and enjoying yourself, right? So I would take you towards some music quickly before I take a few questions. So stress is something, Avdesh, that you really have to avoid while addressing it. What is giving you stress is very, very important. Try and find that out, right? And once you jot that down, try and kind of, pass it, channelize that energy, which is a negative energy. At times, stress is a negative energy, right, to my mind and to my body. And how do I control it? By keeping occupied in other areas that can also decrease my stress, involving myself in the exercises where which keep me happy, which makes me happy, can bring my stress down, right? Proper planning to my goals and objectives can bring my stress down. Like during exam, class 10, class 12, right, we are so worried, yaar, kya hoga, what is going to happen, will I be able to get 90% plus, 85% plus? Guys, life is not a race of marks. Come on, it's not a race of marks. Do your best, be responsible, take responsibility, be accountable, right? But something that has happened already, right, should not worry you. Something which is going to happen should not worry you. The only thing you have to focus, plan for it better. The moment you plan for it better, jot it down. In case you don't find a good solution to it, you can always approach people like me, people like your teachers in your school. They would always support you, they love you all, right? Try and approach them. Okay, so next question I'll quickly take here, and tomorrow I'll ensure that I have more time to your questions and answer round. Uncertainties of life. Vijay Chubani, I've taken your question. I would come back to you quickly, and then Siddharth. Okay, Anjalika Joshi, please, bache, try and be specific in your question. What is multiply? Okay. Hems Best is saying to play football. Yes, I agree. Play cricket, play football, do any exercise, whatever can make you happy. Come on, do that. And then we have Karan Rathore to play volleyball and badminton. Yes, that's the reason Tulaz has given you a beautiful platform. In this school, you have all the sports available for you. So once you are back to school, school is waiting for you, right? Once you are back to school, you can play as much as you want, because physical development is really very important. And once you are very healthy, as we say always, that healthy mind lives in healthy body. So try and keep yourself fit at home, right? All of us can do a lot of exercises at home. We can play football till the time your parents are allowing you, I'm sure, and you don't break things. So you can always play at home also, or on terrace, of course, anytime. Questions. So Anjali is asking a question. Anjali Sharma, thanks Bache for asking this question. Sir, fear of failure makes us work more hard. Wow, great. I would clap for Anjali. Beautiful, she wrote. She says, I need to read again, that fear is actually something that makes us work more hard. Yes, it should do. That's the reason I was telling you, you really have to have it in a positive way. Criticism. Okay, let me have you a quick example of me. When I was in class 10, and I was in UP board, right? So being in UP board, you understand, during my time in 90s, UP board was one of the toughest board, in India. And still, of course, it is, besides CBSE and ICSE. And studies are studies, right? They're always tough. So in class 10, right, what happened, I was a kind of all-round. I used to play a lot, right? Cricket, football. And I used to believe in feel good, look good, feel good factor. I'm sure all of you believe in look good, feel good. So I also paid a lot of attention to look good, feel good, sports, right? So I did that. My own brother, right? He kind of, used to pass on comments on me, used to kind of, control me with anger. why don't you study, why don't you study, why don't you study, and you will fail in class 10, right? You will not gain marks. But I knew, right, what I did, I took it as a challenge. I took it as a criticism, and believe you me, guys, when someone criticizes you, right, on the backside, he is trying to kind of motivate you. So when your brothers, your siblings, your parents, they try and criticize you, it does not mean that they criticize you. It means that they're trying to inspire you to take it as a challenge, that yes, you can do that. When somebody says you cannot do it, come on, tell them you can do it, right? And I did the same. I told my brother, okay brother, let's see what is going to happen, whether I will be able to pass or secure distinction, or will fail. Let time decide on it. Okay. So I was focused, and I was focused all around, taking care of things. And when my result came, in short, I'm telling you, since time is really running away. So in short, what I scored when class 10 result came, I was a topper of my school, of my city. I was a second rank holder of my district, right? And when I came back home, my brother hugged me. My brother hugged me, right? And said, Ajay, I am proud of you. So you see, family is family. They love you a lot. But at some point in time, when they pass on their anger to you, when they pass on, some dream of theirs that they wanted to become this, take it positively, right? But on the contrary, once you take it positively and you come across some problems, please involve your parents. Involve your parents. How? Like an example, Papa, I tried scoring very high in maths, and I did my level best, right? But still I could secure only 80% or 75, whatever your marks, or 60% or 50%, right? Because marks से life decide नहीं होती है, right? As I said, your IQ is important, but your EQ, how do you handle yourself? How do you handle problems? How do you handle emotion? Believe you me, guys, जब आपका सिलेक्शन हो जाएगा ना किसी कंपनी में, once you grow, once you become adult, post 20th, you start working in companies, आपके कोई मार्क्स नहीं पूछेगा. Nobody will even ask कि कितने परसेंट आया. Nobody will even ask a kind of, which school, which college. क्या रहेगा? You have to show how do you handle problems. You have to handle issues, problems, behavior all around, right? So it is very, very important. But yes, marks are important. So as I said, give yourself responsibility, right? Try and teach yourself to be more responsible. And when you come across any problem, you can always tell your parents, Papa, I tried doing it my level best, and I take the full responsibility of my marks, and I promise, I ensure कि नेक्स्ट टाइम में अच्छे से मार्क्स लेके आने वाला हूँ. सो जब हम किसी प्रॉब्लम को फेस करते हैं ना बच्चों, आप उसको रियलाइज करेंगे कि वो प्रॉब्लम जब आपने फेस करी, आपने उसको एक्सेप्ट किया, आपने उसकी रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ली, जब वो आपके कारण हुई, राइट? बिलीव यू मी, एनी फेलियर, right? Because Anjali ne bola failure, that's the reason I'm discussing on failure. Failure is just a stepping stone in life. Failure is just a stepping stone of life. After this, what you can do is you can go to my YouTube channel, Ajay Sharma Mindset Coach, and you will find one video. You will find one video passing on credit. So there, listen to one story of Dr. Kalam. Since Dr. Kalam was never used to never used to face any kind of a failure, and he never knew how to face a failure. He knew how to face successes, but knowing failure, facing failure is very, very important. Okay, so rest all questions we can take tomorrow also. I know time is running and I'm going beyond and beyond. I'm sure some of you might have a lot of other tasks with you available, but yes, listen to this music before we go. I will take you toward this music. Quickly have it, just a second. So this is something which will you can always listen to it whenever you want, and I'm sure it will give you a lot of positivity.
रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया फूल सारे चमेले देख
In case you're able to listen to songs, please comment on the box. I would get to know that you are able to listen to songs. This song is "Yu Hi Chala Chal Rahi." So I would really request all of you to listen to it whenever you have time. "Yu Hi Chala Chal Rahi." So try and listen to it. Then I will be back to you for 2 minutes before I winding it up.
रास्ता है कह रहा अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे ये रास्ता है कह रहा अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया.
Enjoy this song, and I will be playing tomorrow another beautiful song of Hollywood, since I'm sure there are a lot of listeners. Can you dance also sitting at your own places? I would love to see you dancing. Come on, start.
रास्ता है कह रहा अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे ये रास्ता है कह रहा अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे.
Very nice, Sandeep. Good.
दिल को है क्यों ये बेताबी किससे मुलाकात होनी है जिसका कब से अरमा था शायद वही बात होनी है. यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही जीवन गाड़ी है समय भैया आंसू की नदियां भी हैं खुशियों की बगियां भी हैं रास्ता सब तेरा तक भैया. यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया फूल सारे झमेले देख फूलों के मेले बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया.
I am sure you enjoyed watching and listening to this music. Please try and have it. So there are a lot of solutions we think of, stressing down ourselves, keeping our problems, worries over. There are a lot of solutions. I will be right back to you, with all of you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and we'll take it ahead with your genuine practical problems. I would really request till tomorrow, jot down all the problems, worries that are disturbing you, perturbing you, right? If you really want to know your happiness index from me, you can always write on the chat box. I would also request you to go to Tula's page or go to my YouTube page and kind of answer me or ask me the questions on that. So I will be able to take your questions on YouTube page also right here on this platform. I'll be happy to have all the questions. So till that time, I would say thank you to all of you for such a beautiful time that all of you have given us, right? Or particularly to me, of course. And I'm thankful to Atula's management once again for creating such a beautiful platform, right? So till then, I would say goodbye. And tomorrow at 4 o'clock sharp, I will be right back for all of you. Thank you so much once again. Namaste. Thank you.